ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking bad shit.
Subscribe. Master Roshi. Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on the Marvel Studios' The First 10 Years Avengers movie Mark 7 Iron Man. If you're trying to pick up this figure, you can order it right now at
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
Yes, I'm so happy that Hasbro has made this figure. Mark 7 Iron Man has been my favorite Iron Man for a long time. Maybe one of the newer armors are my new favorite, but I still really like this a lot. Anyway, on the side you can see a read-up on the Avengers movie. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. And you can see that he's number 3 from this line, or this series anyway. And then on the very back you can see a nice spot varnish poster of Avengers. Then there's a read-up and a headshot of Mark 7 Iron Man. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. And then on this side you can see part of this whole build-in image that they're going on with the packaging, which is pretty neat. Then we get the spot varnish Marvel Studios right there on the very top. Not much more at the bottom. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's the Mark 7 Iron Man figure out of the packaging. And yes, we finally have our Marvel Legends Mark 7. I have been wanting this figure for so long. Mark 7 armor being my favorite armor for a very long time. The first armor where he didn't need to use his hands to fly. That's one of the reasons why this was my favorite. And I think this figure looks incredible. Just looking at it right over here on the rotating base, I'm just very impressed with the aesthetics. There is a downside to this figure though. I have a couple of gripes, and I hate having any gripes with it because I love this armor, and just looking at it right now, I'm just totally in love with this figure. But there are some things that do disappoint me a little bit, and I will get into that shortly. So let's get a closer look at the accessories, and then we'll get a closer look at this Mark 7 Iron Man. So the first bit of my obnoxious complaining, which isn't really that obnoxious, right? I mean, I think I make a fair point here where I think we could have gotten more accessories with this figure, especially with these first 10 years figures. And, you know, they cost a little bit more than your average 6-inch Marvel Legend figure, so I thought we could have used more accessories, especially another set of these yellow effects pieces right here. I wish we had 2 of these, that way we could have them ported at the bottom of his feet and figure out a way to have them ported into his back. That would have been pretty cool. But we get 2 sets of hands. You can see that we get the fisted hands, which look pretty good, and they do have hinges on them that move up and down. These do not have hinges on them that move up and down, but they do have the port right there, so you can go ahead and plug in the little repulsor blast. We've seen these effects many times before. You can see this little piece right here is a little bit warped. I do need to heat that up and straighten it out, but otherwise, you know, I really do like these effects pieces. We've seen these plenty of times. They look fantastic as always. I really wish we had a way to port them into the back of the figure. You know, have something going on like that. Like if they could put a little, I don't know how they would have been able to do it. They would have had to put a hole through it or something like that, or make it so that you could port it like in here. Nope, that's not really working. So I don't know, if anyone has any ideas, please let me know in the comment section below. And then here's a close look at the helmet sculpt of the figure, which I really like. I do like the sculpt of this. I do wish also that we had gotten a helmetless Tony Stark head sculpt to add on here, especially with the new photorealistic technology. That would have been very cool to see, but you know, we don't have that. I really like the head sculpt. The paint apps just didn't come out right on my figure. As you can see right there around the mouth, we get extra gold kind of globbed in there, and that was the first thing that really bothered me about the figure. So I did order a second one at BBTS. I feel like I shouldn't have been able to do that. I probably should have gone to Hasbro and contacted, you know, customer service or something to try to get a replacement. There's no reason why I need to pay twice for it, but at the same time I could find a place on the shelf for this one, or for 2 of them anyway. You know, it's really one of my all-time favorite armors, so I don't mind having 2. But yeah, that bothers me. That just doesn't look right. I am a bit bummed out about that, but I do like how the blue paint went around the eyes. That looks really good. Oh, and really quick, I wanted to pop on a Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt on this figure. I took this head sculpt from the Marvel Unlimited exclusive Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark figure, and this does not fit on there too well. I mean, it's on there, but it's super loose. So yeah, it looks a little bit strange, but that kind of explains why they didn't include a Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt with this figure. Could still work though, you know, if you could angle it right, it could work. I do like the choice of gold, and the red plastic looks fantastic too, and I like the sculpting. You know, so that looks pretty neat. And there is minor marbling throughout on the figure, as you can see on the back of the neck right there. Looking on the back of the figure though, man, that looks really good. They didn't spare any of the paint on the back, which I really like a lot. That's cool. He has his air brakes right over here, which is another reason why I really like this armor a lot. Like in the movie, you could see this, you know, moving up and down as he takes the churns and all that. So I thought that was so sick. Just, you know, fleshing out the details of the mechanics of the armor even more so for the movie. It just made me really happy to see. But you could see some of those little octagons sculpted right there on the inside of these air brakes. That looks really good. And I guess these are his back thrusters. You can see some silver paint right here, looking really good. That looks pretty good. I will say for the most part, the paint apps did come out pretty clean. You know, there's not a whole lot of splotching or anything like that. So I do like that part of it. But anyway, you could lift these up right here and then you get the back thrusters going on. And that is sick. I love that they're hinged like that. Really cool. And you can see more of that octagon pattern going throughout. Or no, those are hexagons. I'm sorry, not octagons. Hexagon. I was watching some fighting. So oops. Anyway, looking, you can see more detail right over there. Yeah, that looks really good. And then there's the back. And then here's looking at the front of the figure. Looking pretty awesome. I love that. That is great. I don't mind that the arc reactor isn't blue matching the mask. I think that looks fine the way it is. I think that's pretty sweet. Yeah, nice gold paint apps on there. Little details. See, you can see some marbling, which again isn't bothering me too much. The hinges look really good. Nice silver paint in those hinges. That looks pretty nice, man. Pretty pleased with that. And looking at the lower portion of it, you know, you can see the iron butt. Nice details. I wish we would pick these off. Nope, can't do that. I've been spoiled by Hot Toys, I guess, or the Figma figure, which I'll compare in a minute. But you can see some marbling right over there. Nice clean paint apps. So that does look pretty good. I really do feel like the paint apps for the most part look great. If I just didn't have that one problem on the mask, I would score the paint apps 10 out of 10. But, you know, I had that glob on the face, which is, I think, you know, one of the worst places you can have that. And you can see minor marbling right over there. And then the last thing I'm going to complain about is I've got swapped feetsies. Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, nice details at the bottom of the feet and everything, but yeah, the left boot is on the right side and the right boot's on the left side, so I have to try to heat that up or whatever. But yeah, luckily I do have a second one coming in the mail, but man, that's frustrating. That's yeah, I should definitely hit up Hasbro and try to get a replacement. There's no reason why I should have, you know, a figure with so many little problems. I don't know. Or maybe I'm being too nitpicky. Let me know what you think. You know, should I contact Hasbro or should I just suck it up and just cough up an extra 25 bucks plus tax for another Iron Man? So I mostly like the articulation on this figure, but I have some minor gripes with it. For instance, the head can only look up that far. I wish his head could look up more than that, so that's a little frustrating. It can't look down that much, and when you turn the head side to side, it's going to be a little bit at an angle, which actually kind of works out with this figure with these two pieces right over here on each side. No real head pivoting over here. We get these shoulder pads that are made out of this soft pliable material so they can get out of the way. I wish they were hinged, but they tend to work fine. So you can get the shoulders moving outward that far. You can move them down. You can rotate forward that much and back. Well, you can do a full 360, okay? And then you get a bicep swivel right there. Double jointed elbows, and then the wrist turn side to side and hinge up and down. And you can get them hinged upward that much, so they used a soft material right there. So that's pretty cool, but if you leave it like that for a long time, it'll probably stay warped. You get side to side motion at the diaphragm, bit of diaphragm pivoting, and it'll crunch forward a little bit, back just a little bit. No waist articulation, but we do get good hip joints that move all the way outward, and we don't have those sliced hinges at the hips too, which is kind of neat, so that works out really well. It can kick forward just this much, and they use a softer material right over there, so that's pretty cool. I wish it could move up more, but don't really need it to. It can move back a little bit, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and then the ankles move down, they move up a little bit, and they do not turn side to side, but they do have ankle pivot. Now to measure out the height of this first 10 years Mark 7 Iron Man figure, you can see it's standing just barely under 7 inches tall. And then for your 6-inch scale Mark 7 Iron Man comparison, we have the Marvel Legends Mark 7 and we have the Figma Mark 7 from the Avengers movie, and these two both look amazing. I really like both of these figures a lot still. But I think they have plus sides that the other doesn't have. Like, for instance, the paint apps on this one just stand out way more. Keep in mind also that the price point, you're looking at about 3 times as much for this figure. This guy was like just a little under $100. This one reaching closer to $30 after tax and everything. So, yeah, there's a big price difference between them. This one's definitely a lot more bulky. The problem I had with this was the shoulders looked a little bit low. I like how they kind of, you know, didn't have that problem with this one right over here. So, yeah, I like them both. but yeah, it's hard to say which one I like more than the other. One thing I wanted to try out was taking you know, the little foot repulsor or the boot repulsors and trying to see if I could, you know, shimmy these in here on this Marvel Legend figure, and that kind of works, man. Kind of looks cool. I don't know, a little too bulky. Oh, and if you wanted to plug those effects into the bottom of the boots, you can do that, but you're gonna get a little bit of a gappage right there. You can see the pegs sticking out some, so yeah, doesn't fit perfectly. Now, I'm not going to compare this figure to the Hot Toys Mark 7 Iron Man figure, but I am comparing it to this 3 3/4 inch version, and you can see the shoulder problems kind of persisting right over here, along with that Hot Toys Mark 7. So yeah, I'm very happy to see this Marvel Legend figure has the nice bulkier shoulders. Then here's the Mark 7 Iron Man next to a couple of my older favorite Iron Man armors. Mark 7 still being my favorite, but I always really liked Mark 6 a lot, and we have Mark 7, which I think looks awesome. These figures right here marks the time when Hasbro started to creep out of the dark days of Marvel Legends. I remember really feeling like the toy line started to really turn around at this time. I think it was shortly after Iron Man 2, sometime around there. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, remember the Mark 6 and the Mark 4, those being signs of things looking really good. And then here's the Mark 7 Iron Man compared to a couple other more recent armors. We have the Mark 47 Iron Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. Then we have the Mark 50 Iron Man from Avengers Infinity War. And it makes sense to me that the Mark 7 would stand a little taller than the Mark 50 because this is a much more skin-tight armor. These two should be about the same height. This one's just a little bit taller though, so a little on the bulky side. And then just to bring back the Figma figure really quick, just to compare to these two, yeah, the Figma does look a little on the small side compared to the Mark 47, I guess. And then here's the Mark 7 Iron Man next to the other first 10 years Studio Series figures that I've already reviewed. We have Ronan the Accuser, we have the STCC exclusive Red Skull, and then the Captain America and Crossbones 2-pack figures. And you can see that Mark 7 Iron Man stands significantly taller than Cap. I like that. I like seeing the height order going Cap, Iron Man, Thor. You know, that's my preference anyway. But I'm really liking this first 10 years Studio Series line. This is really cool. And I did pick up some new first 10 years figures yesterday. So yeah, stay tuned for more of those reviews. And then here's the Marvel Studios first 10 years Mark 7 Iron Man figure next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. You can see how he is significantly taller than your average 6-inch scale figure. Not doing stop motion today. Very sorry, you guys. You got to blame it on the baby. She's teething right now and going through a growth spurt, and she was just getting over being sick, so the baby's been keeping the wife and I up a lot. So Lord Emmetron has made it very difficult for the lovely Charlie to 1 and I to get some really good sleep, and without sleep I can't really do good stop motion because I'm just really tired. Now, I gotta give you guys a big thanks for watching my video, and thanks for hanging out with me today, especially those of you that watch the videos all the way from the beginning to the end. It really does help out the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button if you liked the video. Please leave a comment down below and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell if you have not done those things already. It really does help out the cause for action figure reviews, man. But anyway, I like this figure. I really like this figure a lot, and I hate complaining about it. I don't want to complain about it. I'm very happy to have it. I'm happy with this design. I think it came out looking awesome. The paint apps look really good for the most part. I like the sculpted detail. I do wish it had more accessories. See, there we go complaining. And I wish I didn't have that paint splotch on the face. I wish the feet weren't switched over on me. So there's, I think, legitimate gripes with this figure, and that really bums me out, but I still really like it. And I did order a second one, and I may have ordered a second one anyway because this is probably my very favorite armor. I really like that Mark 50 though, so it's either between the Mark 50 or the Mark 7 as far as my favorite armors go. But anyway, I'm overall pretty happy with the piece. I'm not trying to be biased about it, so I have to mention the complaints. And I did get this weird thing on the very back of this fin. It's like this weird sticky stuff, and I did notice there's just like a little thing right there around the ankles, so I'm like noticing little details here and there. But regardless, I'm stoked to have it, thus I'm giving it a stud rating of 2, please. And you know, I'm giving it that rating because I would probably pick up 2 of these anyway, it being my favorite armor and stuff. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment down below. If you'd like to see a photo gallery of images, you can catch it all over at marvelousnews.com, and be sure to check out marvelousnews.com for the forums as well. I think that's a much better environment to talk action figures rather than Facebook. And if you want to follow me on the social media, you can catch me over on the Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Links to everything I talked about in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
That's crispy.
Hey, new Shartimus Prime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face is in my shot. Your face is in my shot.